Okay, so we're going to do the demonstration for draping for your spa treatments. I wanted to start just showing the overall setup here. We have underneath we have a bottom sheet, and then we have the bolster already here. We're guessing somewhere around the knees, where the knees of your client might be. If you're starting face up, if they're starting face down, then you would guess where might the ankles be ish, right? So that's under the sheet there. And then the main thing is you just want to make sure the sheet is kind of even both sides. And you have a little bit of extra give up here, so this goes a little bit above the top. That can be folded down there. I have my face rest. You might notice the tilt, which we were talking about in a minute as we were setting up. There's a little bit of a tilt here. And the reason it's tilted in this direction, if you feel your head and your face, you'll notice your forehead is anterior to your cheeks, and so that's why we have that. And if you want to quiz your client about it when they get in the face rest, you can ask them, is there pressure on your forehead or pressure on your cheeks, and you can adjust for that. So that's one thing you can do there. I have this towel here. This because if you have a female client, you're gonna and you do the abdominal area, you're gonna want to be able to cover their chest. So we just have a standard bath towel here to the side on a clean surface, ready to go. And so I'm going to have my client come in and get on the table face down, and we'll do the next bit. Okay, so our client has gotten on the table. We're pretending the role play here. We're kind of just walking in. We're trying to figure out and get it ready for our treatment here. The first thing I want to do is just make everything nice and neat again, right? Because clients tend to get on, especially if they have mobility issues. It can get discombobulated. It can be more on one side than the other. And so, thank you, Isel. So I'm just kind of walking around and very carefully pulling the sheet towards the floor here and just making everything more even. One thing you're going to want to do as you practice this is be aware when you are making up a bed at home, you tend to do this, right? And so on a table, that's a no-no. We don't want air going up in there and making our client feel like they're exposed. Even if they're covered, if they feel exposed, as far as we're concerned, they're exposed, right? So having your client know that they're safe is just as important as you knowing that they're safe. Okay, so I've adjusted the sheet. Next thing I want to do is check in with my client. How does that face rest feel? Do you have any pressure on your forehead or your cheeks or anything like that?
No, it feels actually.
It feels pretty even. Okay, so if it was pressure on our forehead, we'd lower the forehead part. If it was pressure on the cheeks, we might lower the cheek part, or play with that angle in some kind of way. So that's what we do there. This is good here. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll adjust the bolster right here. Sometimes that'll be the first thing. For the bolster, I like to put both arms in. I'm going to put one arm under. Actually, let me just do it this way, where you can see what's happening under here. Okay, so see, this should be kind of like where her ankles are. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put my hand under her leg here this way and raise her leg with my arm and then kind of wiggle the bolster that way. So kind of I was doing it like this and then moving the bolster. All right, so that's my little trick. So, right?
Little trick.
Right? Yeah, so you stick around, you learn some things. A little bit here, a little bit there. All right, so that's our basic. Now we're ready to go and do our treatment, right? And so I'm going to show you all a simpler version of this draping that we do. And so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to undrape this leg first here, okay? So we're going to take, and I'm going to take this corner here, I'm going to fold it into a triangle up to basically show my client's leg here. Right now, I've kept track of all this stuff. I haven't gotten rid of it. I'm just going to keep it there. But I have her leg now, and now I'm going to move it out towards me. Right, and so to do that, I'm going to hold the ankle and the knee together. This might be a bad knee, right? I don't want to just lift the leg. I want to take care of the knee, lift together, and then move that out like so, and just place it so you don't have to reach across to get to it. Now with this here, I'm just going to take this fold. See, this fold is all the way folded up to this corner here, right? So that's a nice diagonal thing there going on. And what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to push this inside. So your instinct, you might want to pull this up. It's better if you pull this inside like this, like so. until you get to the point where right where the gluteal and the thigh join, right there. Then from there, for y'all, you're just gonna set this edge of the sheet that we were keeping track of. You're gonna set it right here next to the leg. Right, you got your extra up here a little bit. Then you're gonna bend the leg up. This hand that's here is gonna go onto the knee. This hand that's here is gonna go under. Right, so watch that. Here you're gonna hold here. I'm gonna lean forward to raise that knee and reach under the knee and grab right at the knee. I don't want to grab too low. I don't want to grab too high, but it's basically right there. And then from there, you're going to want to pull out this way. Don't. You want to pull straight up to the head. So I'm just going to go from here to here. There's not going to be any of this stuff. It's just going to be straight to that. Okay? All right, so the next, holding just that there, right at the knee, and then pull straight up to her shoulder. And notice as I pull to her shoulder, that's going to pull the sheet up a little bit more, right? So that's what we want to happen there. Now, if I want it even a little bit higher, I can take this bit here and I can just kind of pull a little bit like so and make it higher, right? Your clients, we are requesting that they bring in underwear or shorts or something for their treatments. They should not be naked under here. You know, that's just our policy. And so what you can do here is, so if they're not wearing underwear, if you're in the spa, you can take this up and over and tuck over their hip right here, right where their waist is. But our client here is wearing a little bit of underwear, and so we don't want to get that dirty or wet or oily or anything like that. So can I tuck in right here? So ask for permission, can I tuck right here? And then just tuck up in there to secure that. All right. And then we're going to do the other side. Hey, we're filming for Essence here. Okay, and so then we're just going to do the exact same thing on the other side. That part's already done. I'm going to take this and fold it in that triangle once more. Yeah, that's Destiny. And then we're going to, so that's there. I can move this out here this way, like so. And then we're going to do that same thing. So this is going to go to the medial. If you can pull it up at this point, it doesn't make a difference. But again, if you just push medially, that works. Just to that point where you see that kind of like join right there. Get my edge that I'm going to pull here. Make a little space for my hand. And I'm going to lift here and pull. And I'm going to go straight up to her head, not coming out even a little bit. Then I can take this here and I can pull just a little. Raise that up, get permission. Can I tuck in right here again here? I'm going to tuck in right in there. And so that's the lower body drape. Now I can do the back drape. For the back drape, I'm just going to find the waistband here. I can palpate and feel with my hand. Use a flat palpation. If you use your fingertips, it's going to be a lot harder to find it. Just a flat palpation here. And again, can I tuck in your underwear here? I'm going to tuck in that waistband. Like so. And you're going to tuck all the way to the sides because that's going to make it really secure. You don't want any water or product or anything getting on their underwear. So you're really trying to protect their underwear. You know, they might have worn their cute underwear today. They forgot what was happening. Can I pull this down just a little bit? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to pull this down just a little so we can. So the idea here is you're hitting right above the gluteal cleft. You imagine there's the valley right here, and there's like a palm's width of the sacrum. And so that's the entire back is what you're trying to get to there. With this here, sometimes I like to take a little hand towel. You just get a little hand towel. You can get your hand towel right here and just place that here. Because, you know, again, this is another place you don't necessarily want to get product on their hair. Right? So I like to pull this out. Actually, y'all might have them do a hairnet or something like that too, right? And that's fine too. And so what I like to do here, I like to have my fingers going around the neck, then I use that as like a brush or a comb to get all that wispiness out of the way and where they're more safe and protected from whatever the product is going to be around here. So if this towel is too big, they might get claustrophobic, so make sure that they can breathe under there. All right, so that's the overall what you're going for. You can do pretty much your whole posterior treatment now because you have the lower extremities draped here. You have the back draped there, or undraped. Once you're done applying all your product, you're ready to turn your client, you're simply going to return this up. Notice I'm not fluffing the sheet. You're not going to fluff the sheet at all. It's just you're taking it from here and you're dragging it literally against their skin. Now let that be part of the sensory experience. It's part of the treatment. That feeling of care that you're giving as you do this. This I'm just going to undo exactly the way I did it. So I'm going to lift the knee here. If you just drag through, you can give them a friction burn as this fabric comes through. So make sure you're lifting and you're pulling slowly. Do not pull too fast. If you pull too fast, that could, again, give them that friction burn. So notice, again, I'm not fluffing at all. I'm just pulling down to the earth. Right? That's all we're doing here, down to the earth. Our client must feel safe or they're not actually safe, right? It doesn't matter that we care. Doesn't matter that we didn't mean to. All that matters is what they experience. All right, we're giving ourselves a safety net there. Lift that knee, pull down here. Nice and slow. And there. So now we're done with our posterior part of our treatment, right? The treatment part, that just depends on the protocol you're doing. So the next bit, to turn the client, I'm going to make sure I have enough extra over here. I don't want to pull just the edge. I want to pull this bit too, so there's like a tent effect. It's hanging down, protecting this part. So you want to get a shot of that. So I've given enough extra here, so when I raise this, it's not just people can see straight in there and they don't get air, right? So if I raise this here, they don't get the airflow, right? So even if it's just me and my client in the room, that's protecting about airflow. So every little bit of comfort, every little bit of safety really makes a difference, right? It's because we never know what kind of trauma people have. All right, so now I'm going to turn my client, and so you want to, I guess, I also want to look around, make sure it's even on both sides. It's still pretty even. We didn't really do a lot of movement here with the sheet. But what I am going to do now, on this part, I'm going to put my body weight, my legs against the table here and anchor this part of the sheet. So that's pinned there. And I'm going to reach across about to the shoulder and the hip. Right? If you're in the middle, it's not going to work. If you're too far, you're probably just reaching too far. It's too much effort for you. But here, right at the shoulder, right at the hip, that's a good place for you to kind of lift up. But don't lift too high, because if you lift too high, you start to expose your client, right? So be aware about that happening right there. Right? So you're just lifting up just enough. And we're not pinning them down either, right? We want them to be able to move. All right, client, if you would go ahead and turn over for me. Oh, wait, let me grab this. Go ahead and turn over for me and slide down so your head is on the table there. And so that's why you saw that sheet trying to go with her. And so that's why we have that extra overhang there, is to protect that. Now that she's over, we're going to do this. Pull that. The easiest way and fastest way to deal with this face rest is just to pull the lever. So you're just going to pull that lever up and then let that fall, and you can anchor it back down. That's the easiest way. That way you don't have to try to slide it back in there if something goes off and you need to do something different. All right, so we're just going to let this be up here for now. And then I'm going to adjust this knee bolster here. Same methodology I was using before. I'm going to put my arm under the sheet, lift my client's knees, and then use my other hand to kind of shimmy that bolster up. How's that there? Is that in a good spot there? Okay. All right, and so the anterior draping is almost identical to the posterior draping. So we're going to start here. All right, so basically the same deal as before. We're going to do my little triangle fold like I'm making a paper airplane, right, up to the leg there. But see how that fold continues the whole way up, right? Then from there, holding the ankle, holding the knee, protect that knee. Everybody has a bad knee. And then move that out to where you can handle it better. This is going to go in until you reach that point where you see that the leg is starting to join with the hip right here. Right, so right in there. And I have my little side, the edge of the sheet here, right there where I'm going to pull it. I'm going to lift the knee just a little bit here. I don't have to have a lot of lifting here. And then, well, actually, maybe if I do it a little bit more, it gets better. So then we're going to pull that straight. Notice I pulled it straight up. I did not pull it out at all. It's just going straight up. That's really important. And then with this, again, I'm just going to angle the line a little bit, like so. And I'm not going to tuck here. I'm just going to tuck over on the side over here. Can I tuck right up in here? And I do like to ask permission, just because. Even if you already know you have permission, it just gives them a little bit of warning, like, oh, okay, this thing is about to happen. You know, some people are hyper vigilant because of stuff that's happened in the past. We want to respect that. If you broadcast, hey, I'm about to, it can be a little bit easier to receive. All right, next side, same situation here. We're going to take the corner, fold it in a diagonal like I'm making an airplane, like so. Expose the knee, lift the knee and the ankle. Now notice the knee gets a little bit higher, so I got to push that bolster a little bit higher too at that point. So there's that. We're going to bring this medial until right about where the two are coming together. Bring my edge of my sheet, like so. Lift this, and then pull straight to the hip, the shoulder. There. And then can I tuck in here again? Got the permission, good to go there, right? So, it doesn't have to be super high up here. You're just doing a treatment. You don't have to get all the way to the attachments or anything like that, so that'll work. And then the last thing, so that's good for your lower body. And then for the upper body drape, we're just gonna, because we have a female client here, if you have a male client, you can just pull the chest drape down. You don't really have to mess with the towel here, but we're gonna do the towel thing. Now, depending on your client's proportions, you might want to fold the towel ahead of time, which you're more than welcome to, right? So that can be a nice thing to do. Sometimes you might need to have it all the way open though, because you're just not sure what's going to happen, right? So maybe I'll do that this time. So we'll just have it. Well, that's a bit much for Destiny here, so we'll do it this way. So we'll just fold it in half there. That's good. So from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the top here while I pull the sheet down, right, like so. So we're just going to pull this down here while I hold the towel in place. And I'm just moving very slowly. I'm not in a hurry. I just want to make sure I expose what needs to be exposed while keeping my client safe. All right, so now we have the abdominal area exposed. Now what I'm going to do, and I might be getting in your way here, but hopefully not too much. I'm going to slide this down, this top down to just below the clavicle, maybe 2 fingers below the clavicle, but you can also use the fullness of the breast area to kind of determine where to place that. So, place that in a place where it's not going to move, right? Because you can place it lower, but if it moves even lower than that you got to think about that, right? So place it in an area that's kind of like you got a safety net there. And now the lower part, obviously I got to raise that up. So I'm going to just raise this up this way and bend that like so. But at the same time, I need to be aware that there's 3 dimensions here. And so I don't want to expose her. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring her arm out. And then I'm going to, so notice how I did that? This is just a little, like a little rope now. So I just do this. Easy, right? But this part, you got to make sure you're not exposing her. So you're going to push this into there. I'm not going to lift this, right? Obviously, if I lift this, we're going to expose her. We don't want to do that. We want to push this in there, bring that up. And now here, I'm going to pinch this even more, even maybe twist it a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a shape, right? And then same thing on this side. Get this sheet out of the way. And this part, I might pinch it just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a shape for her there. And so now I've got this here. And now this waistband, I'm not going to tuck it in the middle at all. I'm just going to maybe to the side here. I can tuck it on the, if I tuck into the waistband, I'm only going to tuck on the outside. Do not tuck anywhere in the middle, right? And then over here again, you're going to go, oh, that was coming from that was the leg part. Okay, so then we're going to tuck in there from that side, right? So definitely on the outside, or if you want to dispense with the tucking in the underwear part, this one is actually really easy. You can even just kind of bring the sheet here and just kind of like push it up under your client. And so then you just have this little base when you're doing the leg, pull it here, when you're doing the abdomen, do pull it there. Right, so that's all you have to deal with right there. All right, so there's your anterior drape for your body treatment. You can pretty much hit all the different parts that you need to hit. And then you're going to redrape them. So to redrape them, I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm just going to let them that be there, and they can hand that to me at the end, or I can even just leave it on them, and they can deal with it when they get off the table. So it depends on how everything else is going to go, right? So covering the chest is easy. All right, we just bring that up, and then the legs is the same as what we put in. So we're going to pull this down. Might as well pull that down as well. I like to do a safety net. That way, if anything slips or there's a mishap, there's still a covering, there's still modesty. So I'm going to raise up the leg and pull the sheet out from one side, go to the other side, raise up the leg, and pull it from this side. And then notice I'm not fluffing at all, I'm just dragging onto the surface. No fluffing. And now that we're totally done, if I want to get that towel out, I can ask my client, just hand me this towel. Right there. And perfect. There we go. Great. And there you go. There's your draping for your body treatments.